It's like a choose your own adventure, only I'm the one making it, so I have to choose all the adventures. First project in the new studio. And it's totally completely done. Don't look over there, stay focused over here, focus on me. Don't look at the doors that are missing. Totally done. I am genuinely so happy to be back in here, not just because it's like I'm finally in my space, but also my space is pretty. Yay! It is a dreary, rainy day outside. But in here, the sun is shining and there's clouds and blue sky. Perfection! Let's go sit on the floor. Hello? Focusing on today's plans. Project time! So recently I've made a couple articles of clothing, most notably Les Brown skirt, but also Les Brown pantaloons that could really benefit from a blousey white shirt. That's not something I have. Wouldn't it be great if I could just make myself one? No, because one is never enough. I'm gonna make 3. Y'all know how much I love a compare and contrast. Or just making more than one item. What is that? Oh, okay, it's just fuzz. I thought it was a paint color that I've never used on the carpet. How? I feel like a good old white blouse is something you just kind of need to have in your wardrobe. I mean, I have a white shirt. I made that one that like crosses over with the big butterfly sleeves, but it's not quite the right vibe for everything. So I guess that's why I'm making 3, for the vibes. It's the 3 different looks, which is why I have dubbed it Pirate, Peasant, Poet. Starting with the peasant shirt, no, the pirate shirt. I want to do a dropped shoulder, a deep V-neck with maybe some lacing in the front. I'd like to put a collar on it, but I have not done very many collars in my life, and I haven't done any of them well, so we'll see how that goes. And then the sleeves will be, I guess, puffed, but like they're not puffed, they're just gathered, and come down to a cuff that I think I will also do like as a lace up to match the lacing up of the V-neck. The peasant top, it's the elastic all the way around the top. I'd like a little ruffle around the neckline, and then puffed sleeves, ruffle around the cuff. Yeah, that's basically it. That's a really easy one. Am I gonna start with that one because it's so easy? You know it. And then my poet blouse has a high collar that ties, so it kind of is reminiscent of a cravat. And then I'd like to put some nice big bishop sleeves on this one, ending in a cuff that also ties, tying it all together. I'm actually going to use a pattern for this one. What? I should get it. Yeah, the other 2 I'm gonna self-draft, freehand, whatever, but I've actually made this pattern before, back when I was doing like capsule wardrobes, and I made it out of a fabric that's so specific that I never wear it, but it is like comfortable and it turned out well, and it's the base design that I want. Oh, it has a dropped shoulder. Ooh, well that changes things. I might go see if I have another pattern that has properly set in sleeves. Just because we have learned that set in sleeves is a knowledge gap for me. I don't know how to self-draft them yet. There's a whole exploration that's on my list, and it's far down the list. Let's go look at fabric. Spoiler alert, it's all white. So I don't naturally buy a lot of white fabric, but this project has been on my list for ages, even before I made the brown skirt. So I've kind of been collecting a few, and I pulled out my favorites last night and pre-washed them. I'm thinking for the poet blouse, I want to do this fabric, which has actually sort of a light check to it. It is see-through, so I might do just the front panel double layered. But this is the most like silky, flowy, drapey one I have. So that's why it felt perfect for the poet blouse. That one needs to be very silky, flowy, drapey. I'm less certain on the other 2. I'm thinking this one for the peasant blouse. I don't really know what it is. It might not be completely natural fiber, but it basically looks like maybe a cotton linen blend. She says like she knows anything about fabric. I don't know, you can like see the weave design in it. It's like a medium weight. It shedded a lot apparently. The other option being this one that has like a stripe in it. I don't know, I already have the check on that one, and it has a very papery feel, so I'm leaning towards the plainer fabric actually. And then for the pirate one, this is where I'm really debating. I did get some white linen at F&M Fabrics and like a linen pirate shirt. Yes, right? Yes. That just seems like, yeah. But I do also have this stuff that's, first of all, cream instead of white, but it's also like very gauzy and it has that sort of built-in texture. Built-in, I don't know how they get that texture. And I feel like it would look really cool as a pirate shirt. And I'd also be more okay with messing up because I'm definitely gonna self-draft that one and I don't fully know what I'm doing. So like, do I really wanna mess up on linen? Linen is not a thing I have a lot of. So I think I'm leaning towards this and I'm gonna save the linen for hand sewing something again? I don't know. Yeah, I like that variety. This is like bright white, this one's sort of a normal white, and then the cream. Variety is the spice of life. I think that is actually like a real saying, isn't it? Let's just dive right in with that peasant one, yeah? Sure. Oh, I don't have much of this fabric either. I'm sure this will be enough. Time to put on big brain, AKA drink my coffee and turn off my mic. Big brain works better when I don't have a lav mic on for some reason. My precious baby boy, did you? Peasant blouses and dresses are super easy to make. They are just 4 rectangles, front and back, 2 sleeves. This is the length you want it to be. This should be bigger than you so that it can be gathered. I made my front panel bigger than my back panel because the front of my body is bigger than my back, but also I'm trying to save fabric. This is the length you want your sleeves to be. This is bigger than you want them around so that they can gather and be poofy. Bigger it is, poofier the sleeves. Don't forget to calculate the seam allowances, hems, folds to hold the elastic, and any desired ruffles into these measurements. Then you cut a notch out on the corners, that's kinda your armhole, and cut the exact same notch out on the corners of your sleeves. Debate if you did this right because the whole thing is looking a tad small. Blame it on not having enough fabric, and go sew it together. Side seams first, then sleeves get turned into tubes. Sew them onto the armhole notches. I'm Frenching it up due to the lack of serger. Fold over the hems of the sleeves to make a tube for the elastic, leaving a ruffle if desired. Thread the elastic in, test the sizing, and sew your little threading hole closed when you're happy. Same thing on the entire top edge, folding, ruffle, elastic, all that good stuff. And I'm not even gonna hem the bottom of this one because I cut it out on the selvage. Woot! Hello? Look at the butt, look at the butt. Time to find out if I'm gonna do this whole thing again with a different fabric because I made it too small. As an off the shoulder, it works. As an on the shoulder, not really, but that's okay. We'll go with off the shoulder. Okay, moving on to the poet. Surprisingly, or somewhat unsurprisingly, the bulk of the patterns that I do have, despite almost never using them, are either dropped shoulder or raglan sleeves. But I have this robe pattern that has a set-in sleeve, and it's a bell sleeve, which can easily be altered into a bishop sleeve. So I'm gonna see if I can do that sleeve on this blouse. This could go poorly. Also, y'all, this is why I can't have nice things. Got spaghetti sauce on the dress. God, I haven't touched a pattern in a while. Neck binding. Do I need that? Tell me your secrets. I really don't want to unfold this. Then don't do it. Yeah, this is fine. We got this. Yeah. Oh. Okay, you are very confusing. Aha. I'm winging it so hard. Well, that absolutely can't be right. Are we having fun? See, in all the amount of time that I'm spending doing this, could have just been winging it and making mistakes, which is just more my jam. Oh, that's true. I hate pattern paper. Oh. No, useless. To everyone who says that self-drafting seems too stressful, nothing is more stressful to me than pattern paper. Let's give it a try. He said a phantom of the opera. Okay. I will protect you from all around you. Point me to the mic. Hi. So you may be wondering, probably not actually, but it's a good segue, why none of my shirt designs feature buttons. Y'all, it's tangent time! Since the earliest time that I am able to remember, I have always had a strong distaste for buttons on clothing. Is that how that works? Why do I feel like I'm going insane right now? Trust yourself, I think that's how it works. It's not like I can't stand them in general on any piece of clothing that anyone is wearing. Like if somebody else is wearing it, it's whatever. I'm not gonna wear that article of clothing if at all possible, but it's fine on someone else. Nope, don't do that. And this one's always been a tough one to figure out. Like, where did this come from and why? I love a good origin story, or maybe I just feel the need for them when it comes to my own personality. And there is a specific incident when I was quite young. I want to say like 8 maybe. Every year we would go on a week-long family vacation to visit my grandparents, and my mom would pack all of our outfits for the week very specifically, and she always packed one extra outfit just in case. My mom also made a lot of our clothing by hand because she is where my sewist gene comes from. But she didn't always ask our opinions on what we wanted that clothing to look like, especially when we were very young. So she had made me this outfit, a matching shorts and top set. I recall the fabric being like a weird greenish brown and not that fun. And I recall there being ruffles around the legs of the shorts. But mostly I recall there being big buttons down the front of this little like tank top style top. I hated that outfit with all the burning, passionate hatred that my little, probably 8-year-old self could muster. But I was also a zero conflict child, aka a child who never ever spoke their mind. So I never told my mom I hated the outfit. I just did my absolute darndest to never ever ever wear it. And guess what she packed as one of my vacation outfits? I managed to go the entire week without wearing it. I turned it into the spare, and I was so proud of myself. Like, way to problem solve without causing any extra problems. High fives all around. And then we got back home, and my mom remembered that one of our family friends was having a birthday party the very next day. And she pulled this one remaining clean outfit out of the suitcase and went, "Perfect! You can just wear this to the party." Being a zero conflict kid means that you will sacrifice everything, including your dignity, to keep the peace. So of course I wore it. I wore the shorts and the top with the big ass buttons down the front to my friend's birthday party at the roller skating rink. And I spent almost the entire party huddled on a chair in the corner, hunched forward with my arms crossed like this so that I could cover as much as possible of the giant humiliation that was my big ass buttons. At one point, my friend's mom came over and was like, "Don't you want to skate with the other kids?" And I was like, no one understands. No one gets the massive embarrassment that I am currently experiencing. I did end up skating a little bit, but I was massively, quietly, inwardly traumatized by this event. I mean, clearly it's been like, what, 25 years almost, and it's still burned into my memory. But the thing is, That's not what made me hate buttons. That happened because I hated buttons. So where did this come from? I've had numerous jobs with uniforms that required a button-down shirt, and whew, I would go to great lengths to avoid wearing it, if at all possible. In the college cafeteria, I could get away with it because I was wearing an apron that covered most of the purple button-down I was supposed to be wearing, so I would wear a purple school shirt instead. Y'all, it would have been covered. The buttons would have been covered by an apron, and I still did so much to avoid wearing that shirt. I remember catering events where we are literally all wearing the exact same uniform shirt, and I would just feel so uncomfortable and like humiliated kind of. Even though I'm looking at other people wearing the same thing as me and it's not weird for them, they look fine, they seem fine. And I also completely realize that no one is giving one iota of thought to the fact that I'm wearing buttons. Like, what would they even be thinking? The distaste for buttons is so incredibly illogical, as well as being one of the rare things about myself that I've never been able to really come up with an explanation for, that it just irritates me all the more. Or it did before I just, gave up and accepted it. And this is not something that I've ever really explained to anyone. Like, I don't think I've said all of that stuff out loud before, ever. Because ultimately, it's kind of just a slog, right? Why bring something up if there's either no logical reason or a 10-minute explanation? Look at that, we're getting places. Hello? Did you do pee-pee? Oh, it is big yawn. Matt will say he doesn't like something, and I'm like, oh, really? Why? And he's just like, I don't know, I just don't like it. And my brain melts a little. I literally cannot fathom what it's like to not have reasons for everything and not care that you don't have reasons. Yeah. Like, first of all, just how do you not have a reason? But then also, how do you allow yourself to not have a reason? And finally, how do you not go insane knowing that you don't have a reason? And he just says, you can like or dislike something. You don't have to know why. No. Nope. Not for me. If I don't have at least one solid reason, better to have like 3 or 4, then it will plague me endlessly. Needless to say, exploring my neurodivergence over the last several years has provided me with some lovely possible reasons for things. Come on, you can do it. Some big, some small, some as seemingly insignificant as a distaste for buttons that have been plaguing me my entire life since I was 8 years old at a birthday party, wondering why I couldn't just get over the fact that there were buttons on my shirt and go roller skate with the other kids. Oh, I should have marked the center first. Whoops. Anyway, tangent over, back to buttonless blouses. Where, oh where? There they are. Did that tangent have a point? Oh, why I don't like buttons. That was the point, just that. Okay. Actually, at this point, I paused to take the puppy for a walk and didn't end up doing much else that night. Puppy time. But back at it the next morning, I've got the entire bodice of the poet blouse finished, which is basically just the original pattern with a lining on the front and the neck sash extended like 12 inches so I can get a nice floopy bow on it. Onto the sleeves, which are being grafted on kinda from the robe pattern, I'm not sure how this is gonna go. Anytime I'm fully winging it on something that comes in pairs, like sleeves and pockets, I do one all the way through, figure out where the problem spots are and what the steps will be, and then tackle the second one. And lucky for me, this turned out to be pretty straightforward. I had extended the width and size of the hump on this sleeve to make it fit into the larger armhole on the blouse, which I also just completely guessed on. And I had just enough extra width at the top to do a very slight ease or gather or whatever you want to call it. The bell shape easily gathered into my tied cuffs, and yeah, this went well. I'll get the other sleeve done and then it's on to pirate times. Microphone pocket? Microphone pocket. We're back to the table. Round 3. I feel lightly more confident about self-drafting this one, having now finished the poet one, because it is actually pretty similar to that. There's a tiny hole in this fabric. I think what I want on this one though is One, I want it to be like even bigger and more voluminous. I also want it to be longer. Not that I'm gonna wear it as like a tunic top because I don't want it that long, but I'd like it to like cover the butt in the back. And then I think to kind of get that volume, rather than cutting it outward, I'm just gonna cut it bigger and put the gathering in the shoulders right here. The Poet one gathers around the neck, which I think looks good with that kind of collar. This one, yeah, gathering in the shoulders. I don't think I'm actually going to add on a collar. I think I'm just gonna cut it like this and then let those flaps fold outward. So I'll probably need to put like a facing on there. I don't know, let's figure it out. I need my focusing hair. Whoa, yeah, that's actually fine. Theoretically. When is it not theoretical? Okay, context. Noting. We want the drape and the poof. Is this gonna be over the top? Probably. This is a little bit ridiculous. But like, why not be ridiculous, you know? Why not? I think I'm gonna freehand it. Like legit. Here we go. The helicopter says hello. Are we on a manhunt? The earth says hello. Y'all, who wrote this musical? Yeah. Sure. Totally. Sleeve! What could go wrong? Everything's gonna be fine. I'm invincible. Ooh, that's some intense thunder. Ow. Wounds. Fear not, I did not actually sew through my finger. I don't actually think it even touched the needle, but somehow I did end up bleeding a little bit. So of course, I proceeded to play the favorite game of sewists. How long can you keep sewing with an open wound without getting blood on your white fabric? Good times. Always a joy. I won today, no blood, but somehow ended up getting blood on this shirt the next day from a totally different wound. Why do I have so many wounds? I highly recommend playing around with large, blousey tops if you're trying to get experience self-drafting or freehanding designs. They're very forgiving and not too hard to put together. Most things just kinda make sense. I have a facing for that front slit, which needed to be hemmed on the inside and then stitched down. A few small eyelets go at the bottom there for the lacing, cause it is a deep V, y'all. Then I gathered those shoulders, and since sewing two gathered pieces of fabric together has never turned out super well for me, I instead used a double layer little panel on the shoulder top. Each side of the bodice gets sewn into it, and it just looks like a cool design choice, but it's actually there to make the whole thing easier for me. Once I had the side seams sewn up, I tried it on and felt like the back neckline was just a tad large, so I just added a little box pleat and stitched that down. Problem solved. The bodice is all done now, so tomorrow I'll get the exceptionally voluminous sleeves added. And there's definitely going to be zero problems there, right? Right? Right! Just like the sleeves on the Poet blouse, these were actually really easy and straightforward to put together. I used a facing to add a little slit on one side, that's so that I can actually tie the cuffs together and, you know, tighten them. Sewed the side seams up, added some interfacing to the cuffs since I'm going to be putting grommets / eyelets in there. Is it cuddle time? Hello! Look at that tummy! Hi, my baby! Then I could gather the bottom of the sleeve and sew it onto the cuff, and I did a little bit of hand sewing on the inside of the cuff just to make everything look a little bit cleaner. Oh, more blood. Before moving on to those grommets / eyelets. Yo, I just cut a random hole while putting in this one over here, because the fabric just got tucked into the hole cutter. What do I do with that? I don't know, I'll try to patch it or something. It'll be fine. Good Lord. Oh, we got more blood. Yo, this is going downhill fast. Let's figure that out. I'm fine with that. And with that, all I have left is to sew the sleeve onto the actual blouse. So I think it's safe to go to the final product. What more could go wrong, right? Nothing else could possibly go wrong. Let's wrap this up. I feel so proper right now. It's funny what a certain kind of blouse can do to you. I love that all three of them look really good. Am I messing up my mic? No. I love that all three of them look really good with that brown skirt, but they all three give very different aesthetics, I suppose. Vibes. Interestingly enough, I think this one is the most comfortable to wear, simply because it's the most covering. Like, this is something you don't really think about, but like the more of you that something covers, the less likely it is that you're gonna have to like adjust it as you're wearing it, you know? Or is this just me? Maybe it's just me. I don't necessarily like clothing that covers more of me, but like this stays where it's supposed to. Whereas the pirate shirt, one, because it's so voluminous, and two, because it's much less covering, it doesn't actually want to stay where I want it to be. So there's just kind of this constant adjusting of it when you're wearing it. And this one, I could just move around and it stayed where it was supposed to. I definitely had the most fun during the peasant top shoot though. High on a hill lived a lonely goated, lay-o-lay-o-lay, hey-ho. She yelled back to the lonely goated, lay-o-lay-o-loo. I mean, come on. Straight out of Sound of Music. My spinders! Lay-o-lay-o-lay, ho-ho, lay-o-lay. Alright, let's get serious. Let's get serious about this super cute outfit. I think I was just happy to finally have my hair not down. Y'all, people have asked me before, like, why don't you ever wear your hair down, especially in final products? It's so rare. It's because I can't stand it. I literally cannot stand having my hair down. Can't wait to put my hair up. For little photo shoots, I can do it. Y'all, it was so nice to be back in this studio. It's so pretty. There's so many pretty things to look at now, which just like keeps me inspired and keeps me creative, and I love it. We've still got like 1, 2, 3 chunks to go before it's like done-ish, but then there are also 3 what would you call them? pie in the sky chunks, big dream chunks. There's like 3 things I would love to do in here that would require me to learn and become decently good at an entirely new skill. So those are like, it's okay if that never happens. Oh, I'm losing focus. Yeah, that probably means I should just wrap this up. This was fun. See you next week. I'm thinking about all the stuff I have to go clean up in the living room. Why do I feel like this is going to end terribly? I have made a couple articles of clothing. The pinch and hold. A little potato baby. It is what it is. These pants are a tripping hazard. Why are you being a little bitch? Because I didn't iron you? Ain't nobody got time for that.